Hey everybody, today we're going to be reading chapter 14 of Deuteronomy, and after I get done reading scripture, I'm going to explain what I think about it, how I feel about it, and I'm not an expert in scripture at all, so please do not lean on my understanding, but trust in the Lord for understanding and for guidance. And if I mispronounce any names, places, people, words, anything like that, I do apologize. And I'm reading from my Bible. It's the New Living Translation for those who want to follow along. And without further ado, let's get started. Since you are the people of the Lord your God, never cut yourselves or shave the hair around your foreheads in mourning for the dead. You have been set apart as holy to the Lord your God, and he has chosen you from all the nations of the earth to be his own special treasure. You must not eat anything detestable. You must not eat any detestable animals that are ceremonially unclean. These are the animals you may eat: the ox, the sheep, the goat, the deer, the gazelle, the roe deer, the wild goat, the addax, the antelope, and the mountain sheep. You may eat any animal that has completely split hooves and chews the cud, but if the animal doesn't have both, it may not be eaten. So you may not eat the camel, the hare, or the hyrax. They chew the cud but do not have split hooves, so they are ceremonially unclean for you. And you may not eat the pig. It has split hooves but does not chew the cud, so it is ceremonially unclean for you. You may not eat the meat of these animals or even touch their carcasses. Of all the marine animals, you may eat whatever has both fins and scales. You may not, however, eat marine animals that do not have both fins and scales. They are ceremonially unclean for you. You may eat any bird that is ceremonially clean. These are the birds you may not eat: the griffin vulture, the bearded vulture, the black vulture, the kite, the falcon, buzzards of all kinds, ravens of all kinds, the eagle owl, the short-eared owl, the seagull, hawks of all kinds, the little owl, the great owl, the barn owl, the desert owl, the Egyptian vulture, the cormorant, the stork, herons of all kinds, the hoopoe, and the bat. All winged insects that walk along the ground are ceremonially unclean for you and may not be eaten, but you may eat any winged bird or insect that is ceremonially clean. You must not eat anything that has died a natural death. You may give it to a foreigner living in your town, or you may sell it to a stranger, but do not eat it yourselves, for you are set apart as holy to the Lord your God. You must not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. You must set aside a tithe of your crops, 1/10 of all the crops you harvest each year. Bring this tithe to the designated place of worship, the place the Lord your God chooses for his name to be honored, and eat it there in his presence. This applies to your tithes of grain, new wine, olive oil, and the firstborn males of your flocks and herds. Doing this will teach you always to fear the Lord your God. Now, when the Lord your God blesses you with a good harvest, place the worship the place of worship he chooses for his name to be honored might be too far for you to bring the tithe. If so, you may sell the tithe portion of your crops and herds, put the money in a pouch, and go to the place the Lord your God has chosen. When you arrive, you may use the money to buy any kind of food you want: cattle, sheep, goats, wine, or other alcoholic drink. Then feast there in the presence of the Lord your God and celebrate with your household. And do not neglect the Levites in your town, for they will receive no allotment of land among you. At the end of every third year, bring the entire tithe of that year's harvest and store it in the nearest town. Give it to the Levites, who will receive no allotment of land among you, as well as to the foreigners living among you, the orphans and the widows in your towns, so they can eat and be satisfied. Then the Lord your God will bless you in all your work. Thus ends the reading of chapter 14 of Deuteronomy. So the first part of this chapter was talking about basically ceremonially clean and unclean animals. And there's also a chapter in Leviticus. It's Leviticus chapter 11. I love that chapter as well because it goes into detail about ceremonially clean and unclean animals. So I love it when they talk about clean and unclean animals in the Old Testament, because I remember when I first became a Christian, I wanted to know all of the things that was right and wrong. And I wanted to know, what was appropriate for me to eat. And when I read Leviticus chapter 11, I was so happy because it told me just that, what was appropriate for me to eat. But I remember reading the New Testament, and in the New Testament, you know how Jesus came and he fulfilled the law, right? So he didn't do away with the law, he fulfilled the law. So that means that basically since Jesus fulfilled the law, we don't have to worry about following these rules anymore, because Jesus fulfilled the law. And also in the New Testament, I believe it was Peter. He was going to a Gentile's house. And before he was going to the Gentile's house, the Lord literally had dropped a sheet from heaven. And it showed all of these different animals on this sheet. And the Lord said for Peter to eat them. And Peter was like, no. It was either Peter or Paul. It was one of them. He was like, no. I've never ate anything, that our Jewish laws considers, unclean, But the Lord then said, don't call something unclean that I have made clean, that I've deemed clean. So, the Lord had showed him that sheet like 3 times, and all 3 times, he refused, and then the Lord brought the sheet back up into heaven. But basically, when Peter or Paul, whichever one, I think it's Peter though, when he went to the Gentile's house, the Gentile, of course, probably had foods and everything that they were eating and that they were going to offer Peter to eat, and that Peter was going to refuse and everything because he's a Gentile and stuff, and he don't eat that. But basically, that story also, it tells us that not only is everything, permissible to eat now, but also that those who were once, not considered, God's people, is now given the opportunity to be a part of God's kingdom. So Peter recognized that, the Gentiles are now a part of God's people. They're able to, learn about the good news, and to be a part of God's kingdom and to be saved by Jesus, so they can get the gospel preached to them as well, and all food is permissible now. All food can be eaten now. So I wanted to share that with y'all. I remember the story. My bad, I forget the names sometimes of the people and who all it happened to. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the story. So yeah, that's why I say always live your life according to the New Testament and what it says. Because the Old Testament, that's what they did back in the day. And Jesus did fulfill the law. And we're living during the time after Jesus's death, resurrection, and ascension. So, yeah, see what the New Testament says about, what's permissible to eat or not. I believe that everything is permissible to eat. But of course, we have our own convictions. So if you feel like it's wrong for you to eat pork, then it's wrong for you to eat pork. So don't eat it. And if you're doing something that you believe is wrong, then it's sin. So, now, the second part of this chapter is about giving tithes. I love tithing. I love giving the Lord 10% of my income. And truly, it sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot. Like, let's say all you got is $100, right? 10% of that is just $10. So, just give the Lord his portion, and that's it. I love tithing. When I worked at Walmart, I would tithe. Every time I got my paycheck, I would tithe. So whatever my paycheck was, I would take 10% out of that and I would give it to the Lord. And so let's say I got paid like $300 in 2 weeks. I know that's ridiculous, but let's say I got paid like $300 in 2 weeks. 10% of that is $30. So I would give the Lord $30, and I would do it as an offering. Sometimes they actually have it separated. It all depends on what church you go to. There's the general offering, and then there's the tithe part where it actually says tithe, or there's the you giving to certain ministries and all that. It all depends. Some churches, you just give them money and they use the money for whatever it is they need it for. That's what I love about 2819 church, my church that I'm a part of now. Basically, I just give an offering. I just give whatever money I want to give, and then they use it for whatever it is that they need it for. And they literally say that on there. That, if you give an offering, if you do an offering, basically, this money will be, used for whatever it is that 2819 needs it for. So I love doing that because I feel like I'm helping out with whatever it is that they need, in any area. I'm not just, being biased and only helping certain areas, I'm literally helping the church, the whole church or whatever. So it feels good doing that. And it makes it a whole lot simpler for people to, want to give and stuff. Because, if you have all of these things split up, it's dang, I don't have enough money to just be, donating to every single last one of these. It's just best for the church to just take the money and do what they need to do with it. But, that's just me. I just love how simple it is. But I love tithing. But ever since I quit my job at Walmart, ever since I left, I haven't been tithing as much. Whenever I get my refund money, I would always calculate what 10% of that is, and then I would make sure that I give the Lord that money. But I just love tithing. I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do. And of course, you can read the New Testament about what it says about tithing. You can pray to the Lord and see whether or not he wants you to tithe. Me personally, I feel like since I'm not out here physically doing things for it's like I am doing things for the Lord. It's like I know I am, but it's like since I'm not out here physically being like the hands and the feet for the Lord, since I'm not out here doing no volunteer work or anything like that, I at least want to help out financially. You know what I'm saying? Like I at least want to be a good steward and support, the ministry and the Lord's work and stuff. So I at least want to donate to good causes and, and donate to my church in order to help, with the upbuilding of the church. So, I at least want to do that. If I can't do anything else, I want to at least donate and help financially if I can't be there to help physically, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I want to give the Lord his 10%. So I love doing it. You guys, you just going to have to pray to the Lord, see if that's something that he wants you to do. Because that's the safest thing you can do. Ask the Lord what it is he wants you to do. Like, if he don't want you to tithe, then don't worry about it. If he wants you to tithe, well, you just need to do that. And that's it. And the best way to tithe is basically tithing is always giving the Lord the best portions of your resources. So that's why I say as soon as I get paid, I see what my whole check is, what I got paid, the whole amount. And I go ahead and calculate what 10% of that is, and I immediately give it to the Lord. Like before I pay anything, before I do anything else, I like to go ahead and give the Lord his money first. Because that's me giving him the best portions of my money. That's me giving him the best portions of my resources, of my finances. So then after I tithe, then I use the rest of my money in order to pay bills and do whatever else I need to do, But I have to make sure that I give the Lord my money. His money, his 10%, because he worked it. He's done so much for me. I can give him 10%. And I don't care what financial situation I'm in, in the future, I'm going to give him 10% of my money. Like, shoot, if I end up hitting the lottery, the Lord getting 10%. I'm just letting you know. Now, if I do end up getting that much money one day, and I want to give the Lord 10%, I am gonna need his help with figuring out where all he wants the money to go to. Cause I'm used to giving him a little bit, small amounts, like $10 here, $30 there. When I was working at Walmart, I was almost giving him like $100 every time I got paid, which was only twice a month. So and that's real easy to just give that to the church, real easy. But if I end up having to give him thousands upon thousands of dollars one day, I'm be looking like, Lord, I'm gonna need help. Shoot, I'm gonna need help with figuring out where you want all this money to go. Like who you want it to go to. But yep, I love tithing. And when it comes down to the clean and unclean animals, honestly, I feel like there's nothing wrong with the animals that the Lord told us not to eat. And the ones that the Lord told us to eat. Like basically I feel like it's nothing wrong with following this practice if you want to. Like if you feel convicted to do that, then you do that. I know a lot of people that don't eat pork. Honestly, personally, I used to be able to eat pork when I was a kid, but now that I'm an adult, it's almost like my body has changed to where now it truly, it gets sick whenever it eats something that it's not supposed to. Like whenever I eat pork, I get sick. Like I don't feel well. And I think that that's cool because it's like my body naturally, just being disgusted with things that I'm not supposed to be eating no way. So it makes it easy for me to eat the right way when I get sick because I'm eating the wrong things. Like it's gotten to the point where if I eat processed food that's not healthy for me, I'll get sick. It just, yeah, it's like I have to eat healthy now, and I love it. Honestly, I truly do. Like I get full off of the healthy food. You know, it's light and everything, so I don't feel all heavy and weighed down and tired and stuff. I feel energized, and my body uses everything that I eat. Like, it's just great. So it took a little minute to get used to. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've been doing this for over a year now, so it's easy for me to do now. But when I first started out, it was hard. It was hard. I had cravings and stuff, and you know, it was hard. But once you've been eating healthy for a long time, it's like that other food is just disgusting to you. Like, you just don't want to eat it. Like, I had got some leaves one day, and it's like, it's not that it wasn't good. It was just simply the fact that I didn't want it. Like, it was just disgusting to me. Like, it wasn't my healthy food that I'm normally used to eating. You know, like, I didn't want anything fried or whatever in grease. Like, I just didn't want that. I really didn't want starchy stuff. Like, I didn't want the mashed potatoes and gravy or whatever. Like, the green beans was good, but I didn't even want that because I knew that they put bacon pieces in there, you know? Like, I just, you know, it was just like, I'd rather just go to the grocery store, get my food, and eat at home type thing. Like, it's cheaper, and I'd be happier. Like, I love eating here at home. Like, I can't imagine going out to eat really no more. Like, the only time I like to go out to eat is on Sundays after church. Because, I mean, that's what we used to do. That's what we used to doing. You know, I love doing that. And I love the fact that I attend 2819 church online because, you know, by the time I get out of church, shoot, it be still early enough for me to go out to eat before the church crowd get there. I can literally get to Applebee's at 11 o'clock when they open, shoot, and I can enjoy myself without hardly anybody being in there and without having to deal with that church crowd. Like, I love it. Like, I have the whole Sundays to spend with the Lord and do stuff with the Lord. And when I do finally meet that special person one day, I'll be doing that type of stuff with them, with him. I'll do that with him on Sundays and other days. So that's it. That's all I gotta say. Making sure I didn't miss nothing. Yeah, I didn't miss anything. Okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love you. Jesus loves you. And have a blessed day. Bye.